Hello everybody. I'll give people a few minutes to join. Say hi if you're watching. Hi Linda. I jumped on a little bit early because I thought it might take a bit longer to get set up, but I'm all good. Hi Shirley. Hi Louie. Hi Denise. Hi Veronica. Just wait a couple more minutes. I don't want to get started too early. I was a bit eager. Child's asleep, so it's me time. Hi Tracy. Welcome. Hi Joanne. Now, I hope these glares of my lights aren't too bad. That's the one downside to crafting after the kids are in bed, is that you need lights. So I'm hoping that they're not too bad. But I do have my crafty mat down so that the glare from the glass underneath isn't too bad. So I'm hoping that will work. All right, I think I am set. So tonight I'm going to have a play with some magicals. And I have done a little preparation for once. Normally I don't quite get that organised and just go with the flow. But I have done a little bit of prep. So while we're just waiting for a few more people to join us, and if you're watching on replay, thank you for coming back at an appropriate time for you. So all the things that you need, oh good Linda, thank you. NatalieMay.com.au. Obviously there's the Facebook page that you're on now, and we've also got the Natalie May Scrapbooking Creative Community. You can follow Natalie on Instagram at HappyDax, myself at Toki Creations, and Linda is at 8239_Linda. So have a look at what we've got on there as well. So we normally share in all different places, just so you can see all different things that we're doing. So I'm going to get into it now. I'm using my Art by Marlene journal today, and I'm using the perfect size journal. And what I've actually done is I have texture paste before, so I will work on this one, but I'm going to start on a tag just to show the technique. And to get the placement of the texture paste, I actually put the girl down that I wanted, and I'm pretty sure this is Brenda. I did rip the name off, but I'm pretty sure it's Brenda. And I wanted her placed there, so I kind of put a little patch over, and I did my texture paste in and around these spots here. So she's going to go on later, and we'll come back to this. This is one that I prepared earlier. So I thought I would just show a bit of the technique with, I love the grunge range from Studio Light. So this is one of the new stencils, and I have no idea what it's called, but it is on Natalie's website. And I'm just going to have a bit of a play with the Art by Marlene Essential Die Cut paper tags. If you haven't used these, they're really great for if you don't have time for a full art journal page, or if you just want to do a little bit of things here and there. They're great to add to a birthday present if you don't want to do a full card. And they're really thick, so they're 450 GSM. I haven't to date gessoed one, so they just rip off like this, and I'm just going to use it exactly like that. Okay, so I'm using Chroma texture paste, and that's just because that's what I have. And I'm going to use a bit of both parts of this. So I'm just using a palette knife. Hi Tammy. All right, so we're just getting a bit of texture paste on. I'm not a big texture paste person, only because I'm impatient, and I don't want to wait around for it to dry. But it does have a beautiful finish, especially when you're using magicals. And I love my magicals. If you didn't already know, they are on special this week at nataliemay.com.au, 15% off. So make sure you get in. Now I'm just giving it a bit of a swipey over. I don't really care too much. I'm just going to lift it off. Now, if you haven't used texture paste before, besides the fact that it is messy, you need to get it into the water straight away. Now, if you didn't watch my live the other week and hear me say that I've broken my leg, so I can't hop off to the kitchen quickly and pop this. Well, I literally could hop, but I'm just going to pop my palette knife in a bucket of water, and I'm going to put my stencil in between two baby wipes until I can get my little assistant out there to come and help me. So I'm just going to pop it and clean that up. When it dries, it's very hard to get off, so I'm just going to pop it between two baby wipes, just so it doesn't dry out and stick to my stencil. So just like that, and I'm just going to pop it aside. All right, so I will pop this one aside. So I'll bring that up to camera. Yep, so you can see it's not a thick texture paste, so it should dry pretty quickly, but I just wanted it to naturally dry. So there's that. All right, now on to the fun bit. So my idea, and although I did some preparation, I didn't really... Hi, Julie. I have to keep remembering to look up. So if I've missed any questions, please say them again, because I kind of get in the moment forgetting that I'm doing this live. So hi, Marilyn. So my plan for tonight, and this is probably one of the first times I've done such big planning, is I want a texture paste, I want magicals, and I wanted a feature. And this girl's my feature. So she's going to go there. So I can run the magicals around there. I'm going to try and avoid that middle space there, but I'm not totally fussed if the magicals go over her face. That's fine. We'll pop her on later. I'm going to put her aside. And if you're just joining us, this is some texture paste I've put through a Studio Light Grunge stencil earlier, so it's nice and dry, ready to go. And I'm going to use my new magical sifters. So if you haven't watched any of Natalie's lives on magicals, you are definitely missing out. Go and have a look, because she is the expert. So I'm going to use some of the new sifters. I love these. I actually did a tag the other night, which I posted up, and I will show you. So this tag I did the other night, and I coloured the girl in with the magical sifters. I just popped a bit on my messy mat and used a brush to paint. So really easy to do that for. But my favourite thing to do is backgrounds. So I've got clownfish coral. So this is a colour that it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I used it for the girl's face. It's got, I'll just show you again, but it's got bits of pink in with it. So you can see there, it's a bit darker around her eyes. Sorry about the glare. But it's such a good skin tone. I'm not good at making skin tones myself, so that's what I go with. So I have clownfish coral, I have jellyfish sting pink. I love the names. And I'm not yet convinced that I'm going to use parrotfish purple. I'm not great with purple, but I'm really loving the combination at the moment of pinks and oranges. So I'm going to use these magicals, and then when the other tags, while this one's dry and while the tag's there, I'm going to show some flat magicals. So I'm going to, so if you haven't seen these, they are a little sifter. You can see the holes in the top, and you can just tap. So I'm going to use the sprinkle and spritz. If you don't have the sifter ones, you can use just the normal magicals and use a brush, and I'll show you that one later if you haven't seen it before. So I'm just going to tap a little bit on the insides. I'm going to try and get the lighter colors closer to the girl, to Brenda, I should say. Her name's Brenda. All right, and now I'm just going to use my Nouveau mist bottle, and I'm just going to activate that. And look at that gorgeous color. I just love it. I have to say, it's almost one of my favorite of the shimmers. Now, because it's got texture paste on there, it's going to roll around in and around the texture. So look at the different, see if you can see the different colors in there. And I haven't activated it all, but I just wanted to slowly sift it around. And look how it goes in and around and look at all the color differences in it. Just beautiful. Beautiful. And I've got a little bit of paper towel here, and I'm really a messy sprayer, obviously, because I've literally sprayed my whole table with water. All right. So I think that I've got a little bit of pile up over here. So I'm just going to tip that a little bit, but I'm just going to take that up. Now, I also forgot to mention that I did pre-gesso my page, and that's only because the type of paper that I'm using, it's really, really good for acrylics and all that sort of thing, and even watercolors. But because we're spraying water straight onto here, it can make it quite wet. So I'm going to pop some pink on now. So this is the jellyfish sting pink. And I'm just going to pop that around there. I'm not even sure if I'm going to use that purple anymore. We'll see. You going to bed? Good night. My 12-year-old's just popped in to say good night. Oh, look at that. Just gorgeous. Now, if you wanted to have a full definition between the two, you could dry them off in between. I've picked 3 colors alongside each other on the color wheel, so I actually like them to blend and make their own new colors. So my paper's quite wet now. But look at that, just gorgeous. I'm going to let it drip onto my page down here. All right, and I'm just going to hold that up there while I get that excess liquid off. So when you're using magicals in your art journals, I always like to give the page that little bit of extra protection by gessoing, just to give it, because they're taking on so much water. Now I am just going to dry that off a teeny bit, because I will add the purple. I'm not a big purple fan, but I will add it. And look at the color. We've got a bit of green up here, so that was in the coral fish, and it activated. It's a bit of a murky green, but I'm okay with that. So excuse the noise. All right, I've got most of the liquid out there. I'm just going to take my paper towel and I'm just going to roll off any excessy bits. And I've got a bit of, it's quite wet down the bottom there. So I'm just going to dry off on the other side just so I can add some more water. Hi, Sharon. And hello to anyone I missed while I was busy crafting. All right. So yes, if you didn't hear that while that noisy thing was going, apologies if I missed you and saying hello. Natalie makes this look really easy, and you kind of forget that besides the fact that you're talking to yourself, you kind of forget that you've got an audience and to look up and look at the comments. So welcome if you've just joined. So we're just doing an art journal page with some magicals, and yeah, look at, can you see the shimmer? You can see the shimmer up there on the screen, and I'll just tilt it a little. It is quite wet still. Hi, Faye. I'm hoping you can see that. I think the light's catching that shimmer well. Definitely not as well as it actually is showing, but look at that's just gorgeous. And I'm not a pink girl. My sister will tell you that. She was the pink girl and I was the red. I'm the red girl, but obviously we don't use red. I'm just putting a really small amount, and I'm just putting it mostly up the top here of the parrotfish purple. I want a bit of depth, but I don't want to put too much more water on my page. So I'm just activating that, and I might even run that up the page so that the bottom, and look at the blues coming out in that purple, blues, pinks, gorgeous. That's what I like about the shifters. The sifters, not the shifters. And the magicals, when you do the sprinkle and spritz technique, is you just get all those different colours on your page at once. And look, there's a bit of orange that's obviously wasn't activated before from the coral fish, clown coral fish. So we've got that there. So I might put that aside to have a bit of a air dry, and I'll come back to my tag. And now I'm running out of space to put things. Didn't think that through very well, did you, Naomi? Okay, so we just clean up a little bit and bring that tag back. Now, I don't know about you, but it's been absolutely freezing in Canberra. So sitting this, we've got our heater back on. So these are normally drying pretty quick, and I will just give it a tiny bit of a hit there before I use some flat magicals on it. So apologies for the noise again. I'll only do a little bit of drying here. So how do you know if your texture paste is dry? You touch it. It is a bit hot. And look, when you're using magicals, it's not a big issue if it's not fully dry. That's dry enough for me because you're about to wet it anyway. But it's really using texture paste and your magicals is to get the different texture, but to give it a different path to go. If you just put it straight up, they'll drip straight down. And I just love this stencil because it's got the big circles and then the little dots that they've got to weave through. All right, so I'm now going to use the flat magicals, and I have another 3 colours. So I've got Natalie May's It Is What It Is yellow. I've got Don't Overthink It orange, and a different magical from, I don't know what set it is, I've had it forever, is a hibiscus rose. So I'm just going to get a paintbrush and I'm just going to I've got a dry paintbrush, and I'll have a piece of paper towel next to me to wipe my brush. You want to keep your brush dry when you're doing this. And I promise tonight won't be a big long one like my last one. I've learnt to be a bit more prepared. I'm not as nervous this time, so that's good. So I'm going to start with my lightest colour again, and I'm going to start on the insides, and I'm just dipping my brush into the top there. Oop, that's a lot. And I'm just giving a little bit of yellow. So this is to show you, and the flats are just as beautiful as the magicals are. They just don't have that shimmer. So we've got that yellow on there, and I'm just, do I want to put the orange on at the same time? I might. All right. See, that's thinking on the fly. You change your mind at the drop of a hat. All right, so I'm just going to get a little bit, try a little bit, and I'm just going to go on the outside of that yellow with a dry brush. Hi, Susan from Bendigo. I've got cousins in Bendigo. And when my broken leg has healed, I'm off to Deniliquin for Keith Urban, so that would be exciting. I'll be taking a chair with me though, because I'll be in doing physio. Okay, so I'm now going to activate these colours. So we've got the It Is What It Is yellow and the Don't Overthink It orange. And they're two of the colours of the set that Natalie May designed herself. And look at that. Look, I tell the kids when I show the kids, my niece is into these, and I show, do you want to see some magic? And it really is. And I'm not going to overspray these ones because I actually love the speckle look in the middle. So I'll bring that one up to camera in a minute. And excuse my runny nose. I've somehow, even though I've been at home most of the time, I've caught a cold from, I'm guessing it was the kids. So, oh, sorry, I missed that. Oh, sorry, Julie. The stencil is, it's wrapped up, but it is a Studio Light Grunge stencil. I'll show you. I've just wrapped it up in baby wipes. Not exactly sure what it's called, but it's on the website. It's still there. I checked today. So it's gorgeous. The fact that it's got the dots and the grungy circles is beautiful. So I'll just show you. So see how the middle of this one down here, it's not fully activated. So you've got those little specks, and up the top too. So the flats are just as beautiful as the I'm just going to drip that down into that little thing. And it is curving a little bit, but that's just because it's got so much water on it. Like, if anything can take water, these tags can take it. I only bought the one set, but I'm definitely got the other ones on my list because they're so thick. And I have not gessoed this at all. No worries, Julie. So I'm just going to go in with another flat magical called Hibiscus Rose. Now this one, from memory, I think this was one of the first packs I bought from Natalie. I think it's quite deep. Yep, looks pretty deep. So I'm just going to pop it around the edge here. Now, if you're like me, I'm not a card maker. Well, I'm not a professional card maker. I'm a scrapbooker, which scrapbooking has kind of taken a side beat to my art journaling and mixed media stuff lately. But I used to think, what would I do with tags? Honestly, what will I do with tags? Besides a birthday present here or there for a friend, or just as a birthday card, what would I do with them? Well, let me tell you, I've already decided that I'll show you some of these. I'm going to make them into a tag book. So all these little tags, I'm going to double side them, and they're going to be a tag book with some ring binders. And I think that'll be just a perfect way to store them. Okay, so I'm now going to just activate that hibiscus. Oh, look at that. Really, it is like magic. And look at the colour. the colours with the pink and the orange and the yellow. And I'm going to let them run in together. Just drip onto the page. Now, normally, I did have a puppy training pad here. I actually didn't have to go and buy them. I had them for when I had a doggy that was at the other end of her life, and she needed a little bit of help. She never peed on them, of course. Yeah, I haven't. Thanks, Diana. I haven't really done tag books before, but I'm keen to do it. I saw Vicky Booton do a class the other day with her colour study, so she does them all the time. Look at that colour, gorgeous. And this one is like, it's not wet at the back at all, only where I've dripped it at the side. So it's really taking that liquid really well. Beautiful colours. All right, let's clean up this mess. I will pop that one aside. Thankfully, yeah, I do too, Faye. Someone was doing it. I'm not sure who I saw doing the orange and the pink. It might have been Natalie, but I just took to the colour. All right, so I am going to have to, back to our art journal page. Now look, as that's drying, it's the colours are changing again. This kind of, the purple's looking a bit bluey. So I am going to have to give that a bit of a heat gun again. Apologies for that. I'm going to start at the back because it's quite wet. Okay, it didn't take too much to dry, and I think it's yeah, it's pretty good. It's still a bit hot. I don't have the separate heat gun. I just use my embossing gun because I don't have the space. This is where I work from home space as well, so that's how I roll. Beautiful. Loving the colours there. All right, so now Brenda, she's going to go on here. So this is where you're going to see me try a technique, and I'm not sure what will happen here because I think that the magicals won't fully react again, but I'm going to use gel medium, but I'm okay if it goes underneath. So it will go over a bit of my texture paste there, but that's okay too. So I'm going to glue her there. She might have a bit of colour on her head, but there we go. Now, I may have to change my gel medium in the middle, but I'm really... Love Brenda. Yes, I do too. I'm really at the very edge of my gel medium, so I'm trying to use the last of it before I open my new one. All right, Brenda, let's get you on the page. So I'm just using my catalyst tool, and there is a little bit of my magicals that haven't reacted to the water there, so they're just smudging in, but that's okay. We're okay with that. It was easy for me to pick Brenda tonight because she's the only one that fit on this little page. So when I get faster and can do a bigger page, I'll do some of the other girls. All right, so just going over the top and underneath with my gel medium. Not too far over the edge because I don't want it to go too much on those magicals, but just enough to make sure that she's stuck down well. Last thing you want, and I've done it, and that's the reason I know I don't want it, is to have a big bubble in the middle. So I'm just doing bit by bit. But you know what? If it happens, we'll just go with it. As I'm going with the colour that is now on her face. Magicals are just a great way to add colour to your page They're easy, they're quick, they're messy. I do have my Natalie May scrapbooking apron on. Oh, hi, Julie from Canada. Thanks for joining us. Yes, Natalie's collage papers are beautiful. All right. So, yes, you don't want to get this on your good clothes. So, definitely have a apron. I've got my Natalie May scrapbooking black apron on, which I only just realised had a pocket in it. And when I make my coffee with my crutches, I could have been putting my coffee, my travel mug coffee, in my apron this whole time, 4 weeks. It's got multiple purposes. All right. And so some of that colour is coming through over here where the writing is, but that's okay. I actually like that. They're a bit wet there. So what Christmas crafts are we doing? Have anyone started their Christmas crafts? Hit me with your comments about any Christmas crafts that you started. Is it too early? It's never too early. I'm a big Christmas freak. I do have limits. I can't start Christmas carols before, I'll say November. Oh, but I have put my tree up in October before. Nope, Natalie. I can be the Christmas freak for the team. I'll take that. They put me on the Christmas decorating committee at my day job. And yes, Sharon, it'll creep up on us before we know, though, won't it? Yeah, they put me on the Christmas decorating committee in my office, and then I told them, well, I'm actually not back in the office until December because I can't walk, so I won't be decorating anything. So they're just using me for advice now, which is fine by me because I don't want to be, after a broken leg, I ain't getting up on desks to decorate an office. All right. So she is on and she looks good. Oh, Linda's doing the All and Create Christmas elf. I'd love to see that, Linda. I must have missed that one. I try not to buy too much Christmas stuff because I literally will go overboard. But, you know. All right, I'm just going to heat this. So apologies for the noise. And by heat, I mean dry. Okay, she's pretty good. Now, I'll admit I had no idea how I was going to cover the edge of her up, but I think she actually looks pretty good like that. So I don't think I'll need to be hiding that edge. It kind of makes it look like she's popping out of the colours from the darkness. So let's go with that. Oh, Karen, love it. Yep, we have elves in our house too. Christmas cards are already all made. Wow, you are super ready. I would have my tree up early November, but I don't trust my husband and my children, sorry if he's watching, to do it themselves. My 12-year-old is very well trained in doing the Christmas tree. I really don't have to do much to his decorations. But my 3-year-old, thanks, Faye. She does look pretty good, doesn't she? And the shimmer around the outside, like this is a really simple, easy page. So I am going to do, I'm not going to do too much more to her. I will come back to my tag in a minute. It's still drying, but I'm going to use a paintbrush and I'm going to use paint her lips. So do I have a small enough paintbrush? So I'm going to use one of these, and I have no idea what they're called. I think they're like a water brush, but it came with my Ultra New watercolor paints, and they're really good for magicals. So I use them for magicals as well. I'm going to do her lips. Do I do purple? I might do the purple. Give her a bit of a bluey purple. So I'm just going to tap a little bit of this onto this mat here. It's only a tiny bit. You probably can't even see it. And because this has got water in it, I'm just going to push that down, and then I'm going to rub my paintbrush over here. So we've got her beautiful purple lips. And I'm not going to colour her. I think she looks beautiful in black and white with patches of pink. But I'm just going to dab that on there. And do I touch her eyes? No, I'm not going to touch her eyes. I'll just ruin it. I don't want to do that on live Facebook. What else I'm going to do is I'm going to get a normal paintbrush, and I'm not going to waste that magicals that are sitting there. And I will use this one. So I'm just going to wet a paintbrush, make a little puddle over here, and I'm going to cover her up. Actually, I'm just going to hold it there because her lips are still wet. I'm just going to tap on just a bit of added texture because, you know, magicals are so nice, you don't want to waste them. And that's a good thing about these little sifters. You can just tap a little bit on to your messy mat. You don't even need a palette. What do you call them? Those paint things that hold all the... I don't even know what they're called. Natalie uses them all the time. Is it a palette, this thing? Sorry, excuse the arm. Oh, what are you making, Sherry? You're making Christmas decorations to sell. Oh, that's intriguing. I've just done my very last advent calendar, the old Kezia Craft advent calendars. I did one for my 12-year-old. My 3-year-old has one. And I've done one for my other four nieces and nephews. And I just did the last one earlier so that he's got it for the 1st of December. And they all have the same paper. So the paper is 12 years old because I started with the same one for my son. So there we go. She's pretty good. And I don't think I'm going to add too much. I'm going to add a quote, but I won't add a quote yet because this is still quite wet. And I'm going to add a border. Normally I would add a border with a gel pen, but I'm thinking I might even just add a bit of ink to the edge or even a bit of paint, some sort of thing. Anyway, I will take photos of this tomorrow and I'll pop it up when the sun lights out, and I'll pop it up on the page. So moving back over, if you haven't seen the full thing of Brenda, she came out of this. So I've still got this to use, the scribble writing. I'm sure it says something, actually it does say something. And I keep these because they're great for backgrounds. You never know when you just want to have a bit of different texture in the background. So let's go back to our tag. Now look at that. So we've got a bit of a film over there. And I'm not even sure what that is because I haven't even used anything. But anyway, that might just be... that's the texture paste when I stuck it on there. So I'll just give that a bit of a dry. Look at that. beautiful. That's hot to touch. Now, I've just had an idea. I do love these colours, but I also really love, and I've had this forever, and I know Natalie sells it in her store, and I know she's still in stock because she's always got it, is Vicky Bouton's gold glaze. So I'm just going to add a bit of gold glaze to this one, and I've had absolutely no plan on what I'm doing with this tag, so I'm just going with the flow here. But I think those colours, now the glaze is thick, so you can water this down. It's really good for Christmas crafts. And I'll just stick a bit on my mat, and I'm gonna use using my catalyst tool. And I'm going to swipe it over here, and I'm hoping that it'll catch and it will. I'm just lightly touching or kissing the page with, and I've run out of gold, and we're just kissing the texture paste with that gold. And I will bring it up to camera shortly, but doesn't that gold just bring extra? I use my gold all the time. If I just can't work out what else it needs, I always add gold. It's just my thing. So I'm going to even swipe a little bit over these little funky bits here. And I'm even going to put some down the bottom. And this bit here didn't catch a bit there. There we go. Now, I'll stick that in my water, and I'm just going to get, I don't want to waste this gold. So I'm just going to get, I will get a tag. If you haven't got any of these are Natalie May's tags. They're great because they're a good size, and I make my own Christmas tags. I don't do Christmas cards really, except for certain ones, but I make my own Christmas tags, and I will use, oh, I was wondering what that noise was. I hope you can't hear that, but my dog's dreaming. You know when they, he's in the next room, and I've got the door closed, and he's dreaming. So I'm just using, I've got a bit of water on there, but that wasn't for the purpose of this. I'll do a bit of a wash in a minute. So I'm just going to use that up there, and that will become a Christmas tag later. I'll put that aside to dry because we don't want to waste. The other thing I do with my excess paint is I have the advent calendar from last year's Art by Marlene advent calendar. She had a mini album in there, and I wipe paint off on that too, and then create pages. All right, so now I'm going to use this with a wet paintbrush. Oh, this gold is just gorgeous. You can use it, like I don't actually have a gold paint. I use the gold glaze because it can be used as a paint, it can be used as a watercolor. And I'm just gonna give it a bit of a tap, smoker's tap up there. I could honestly just tap gold, but stop, Naomi, stop. I could tap gold for days. Now, with this glaze, the good thing about it is if you just leave it for a little bit and you have a clean paper towel, unlike me, I'll get a piece. Wow, those colours really look great. I'm not sure if you can, oh yeah, it's showing the vibrancy. Okay, so because that gold glaze has been sitting there a bit, I can just put the paper towel over the top, and the pigment, it will just pick up the water. It kind of pulls, like the water goes to the top and the pigment goes to the bottom, and only a little bit's come off, but it's already dry. So I'll bring that up and show you there. got a beautiful shimmer to it. All right, how am I going for time? Oh, this is a super quick one. All right, so what will I add to this? So I'll show you a few I've done, and you know, you can add anything to these things. They are super easy, and yes, a tag book is what's going to happen. So I often use my die cuts or stamps. This one here I did, and it's a stamp, and I've cut her out and mounted her. So, and this one, an Art by Marlene die cut, and I've added some stenciling and stuff to her. These two, again, Art by Marlene die cuts and a stamp. They're not done on the back, but they're just super easy, and you can make a tag book out of them. So I did have some stamps I was going to use. I did want to put some stamps on my girl. I'm going to come back to her. Just going to give her a little bit longer because I want to use some of the Seth Apter stamps, and I'll show you those in a minute. So I'm just going to add to this one a little bit of mark making, and I'm going to use the All and Create, what are they called? Add a motto. So I don't really care what it says. I just want the texture, not the texture, the marks. Tomorrow needs you, seize the day. And these are great little, they're great for mark making, but you can use them as your word or your phrase for your journal. I'm going to use it as, no, I'm going to use it loose. So I'm going to use some archival ink, some permanent ink, because I'm going over the top of the Lindys. So I want it to be nice, and so I'm just going to use the side of this. Yeah, that's the one. Thanks, Natalie, for the link. All right, so I'm just going to do little bits down here like this, and I'm going to add a bit here, and it's just adding a little more to the page. And I'm pressing so lightly you can't actually see the word be. And I'm just going to link that to that one. I'm basically cleaning off my stamp on here. So that's all that one needs there. Maybe a little bit up there. There we go. So there's that one. And then I'm going to go back to my, actually before I do that, there's me changing my mind on camera again. So before I do that, I'm going to find something to put on here. So I'm going to use I'm just going to use an old Art by Marlene book because I have so many of them, and I got this one from Natalie last time. And so to find a focal point, what I want to do is find something that either blends with the page or completely is the opposite. I'm thinking something like this guy here. So Marlene normally brings out die cuts with a lot of her ranges. Ooh, that girl might go nice. We'll see. So I should show you what's. So there's some gorgeous things in here. I'm guessing I really want that that thing on the front, but I don't even know if it's in here. I assume it is. There he is. Okay. I think the pink and the yellow will go. All right, so these are just die cut. If you haven't seen any of the die cuts from Art by Marlene, they are good to add little focal points to your tag or your page or create a scene with. Sometimes I just feel like doing a messy background. So that's what I'm going to do. Not actually sure if that's big enough for that page. I may have changed my mind. Look at me. Changing my mind. Okay, I've got the better one. All right. Here we go. So I think this girl, we'll pop her in there. You get 2 pages of each. This is the extra large book, and it was a combination of a number of her pages. That I'm pretty sure it's sold out now. But yeah, she brings out one with most of her ranges. I don't think she did this. Ah, there we go. Perfect. And I will use a saying from, I love these saying books as well. So this is the Essentials sticker book, which Natalie does have in stock. So I'll find a saying there. So I'm going to just stick her on with, I'm not going to use glue. I might pop her up with some tape, some foam tape. Give her get her a bit of a lift. So this is the Expressit foam tape. Can you get it on its own? What do you mean, Faye? The die cuts, or I might have missed the previous one. What Nat Colour Magical is on the tag? I have your collection already. On this tag, we have the It Is What It Is yellow and the Don't Overthink It orange for the tag. And I've added another magical, a flat magical, and I'm not sure what range it's from. Oh, the pink one. It's a hibiscus rose. It's an older set. But, you know, the magicals just last forever. Like, I've had it for 2.5 years, I think. So, and they never bring out a colour that's the same. So you just need all the things. As Vicky Burton would say, all the things. Okay. So I'm just adding some foam tape to her. I'm going to cut the tiniest bit off for her hands, just because I don't want them to flap down. Yeah, Faye, it's a the hibiscus is actually a beautiful, I think it was a Caribbean set, because it's got a mango and another yellow in there. But I think it goes really well with these 2 colours from Natalie's set. All right, sorry, really fiddly, and of course it's sticking to my finger. All right. All right, so we're just going to stick her just there. I'm going to put her towards the ground because I don't want her to make it look like she's floating, although she could be a fairy because she does have a wand in her hand, so we could go with that. And then the Essential Stickers book. These are great. Sometimes my quote does not even match what I'm doing. Sometimes it's just how I'm feeling. Sometimes it's what fits on the page. And these come in black and white. Here we go. My son is just got old enough to watch Stranger Things, so this is appropriate. So we've got Stranger Things Have Happened. And I like to cut my quotes up, so, you know, they're a bit of a tear drop. And I think I'll go over here. Stranger. And these are a sticker, so you can literally just put them straight on. And I'm going to have to cut that. If you've just joined us, welcome. Oh, thanks, Julie. I needed it too. Being stuck at home, I have work meetings all day, but, you know, I don't want to do work. I want to do craft. Do you know what I just realised? Did anyone notice what I just did? That I feel really silly now. I stuck my girl on, and the only parts of the tape I took off were her hands. See? How funny. All right, so now her head has no tape on the back. Alrighty, here we go. So there's a tag done. And never been, if you're not into tags, have a go. Have a go at them. I've never been into tags, and I actually did 2 of Natalie's classes, her tag classes, and I love them. And I'm getting better at working in confined spaces is what I call it. So to finish this page off, I'm just going to get a black gel pen. No, I'm not. I'm going to get a Life of Colour black pen. And I'm just going to give it a border. Now, the funny thing about these tags, one of the first ones I did, I went around here with the border, but I didn't like it. I went with it, but I didn't particularly like it. So I've worked out a different way. Now, because we've got texture paste on here, it's a bit bumpy, but that's okay because these lines are very organic. I always like to do a second line just so it makes it look like it's not meant to be straight. Oh, and that bit of texture paste was wet, but that's okay. So you just have to be careful with your paint pens because you don't want to ruin them if it's still wet. Yeah, so I've decided not to go around bottom bits because it works. Just go around here. All right. Nearly done the tag. Look at that. Last week it took me 2.5 or 2 and a bit hours to do one page, one big page. And this week I'm doing a tag and a page. All right, so that's finished. I'm happy with that. I normally would add a little bit of mark making with a pen, but I think the texture and the stamping and the gold, I think it's great. I'm really loving that tag. So yeah, these are the Art by Marlene, and so it's the Art by Marlene. You get 21 tags, and they're 450 GSM. They're very thick. I have not gessoed this at all. It's magical straight on there. And these are the funky ones. So there's 3 different designs. I will be getting the other 2 because, yeah, really loving them. So there's that one. Going back to our art journal page. Here we go. So, Seth Apter. I'm going to use some Seth Apter inks. And I've got, I love. Thanks, Tracy. I love the minis. If you haven't got the minis, every time I see a mini, I'm like, gotta have that. So these ones, I don't think Natalie has those ones anymore. This one she definitely has still. But today I'm going to use this is the mini script. So have a look on the website. There's heaps of them, but they're just really good little mark making stamps. So, and you don't need a block. You can just use it as it is. This one is, I don't know if you can see that, but it's like a grungy numbers one. And then there's that one. That one's on the website at nataliemay.com.au. And then there's this big one. I've had this one for a long time, and it's actually, no, this is the one I'm going to use. Sorry, I've changed my mind. So that was a mini script one. It's very fine. I do love that one, but I'm actually going to use this part from this one, and this one is still on the website. It's I'm pretty sure it's very popular. I've used this a lot. I've used this a lot, that one I've used a few times, and this one. So I am going to use that on here. All right, and I put my ink away. I'm actually thinking I might do 2 lots of stamping. I might do some in black, but I've got some archival coloured inks, and I haven't used them in a long time. I've got a magenta here. So I'm going to test it first because, you know, you don't want to put magenta on something and then don't want it there. So I'll test it on this here, see how it goes on there. Ooh, that's nice. Yep, I think that goes. So I'm going to use that. And I'm going to use the inside of the stamp like this because I just want a bit of I don't want a straight part of the stamp. I've forgotten my words today, so apologies there. All right, so I'm just going to use a bit of this pink magenta hue. I've literally had this stamp ink for 10 years and I haven't had to re-ink it. So I'm just going to add a little bit around. And I'm not, if you're one of those fussy people that, I need to turn it on the angle, sorry. If you're one of those fussy people that need to, not fussy, if you're one of the people, you do you, I do me, I don't need to have it straight, is what I'm saying. I'm just going over the edge where some of that black joins, just to try and hide it a little. It doesn't really need to be hidden. I think it blended really well. But I'm just going to pop a bit there. I might even pop a little bit on her shoulder and down there. Yeah, liking that. Okay. Clean my stamp. That's about as good as I'll get with my clean stamps. And then I'm going to use... I really wanted to use this all on Create One, and I have used it on another thing, but I don't... No, I've already got enough circles in this, so I'm not going to go with any more circles. I'm going to go with another one from this set as well, and I'm going to use, I think, this one here. And I'm just going to use the edge of it. Right, and I'm going to use it with the black. So I'll get rid of the pink. All right, let's see how we go here. Hoping I don't regret it, but whatever, we'll just go with it. I kind of wanting to give a bit of depth to the edges, so it's not a full. And I'm going to flip that around. Her lips are sparkling, like they are beautiful. And then I'm going to go up the bottom a little. And this might be what I do instead of putting a border on. I think it's given it enough depth that I don't normally do no border, but I think I'm okay. I think I'm okay with that. Yep, we're good. Okay. So I need a quote for her, and because she's got magicals underneath her, I think I will probably use a sticker again. So Brenda, what will we do for you? I think I'll add a black sticker, and all these come in black and white. So some of these sayings are great. So find what you would die for and live for it. When life becomes blurry, adjust your focus. I want to be 14 again and mess up my life differently. Ooh, okay, got it. What is your superpower? Love that. Because Brenda looks pretty strong and powerful herself there. All right. And I'm actually going to, no, I can't do it. Sorry, I have to cut it in half. I just can't bring myself to do it. All right, so I'm just going to pop that on her. Now, this part I do like to be straight. And if it's not, I will just go with it. But I do like it to be straight. And I've kept that off the texture paste. All right, now what I'll just quickly finish off there is, one thing I just like to do is put a bit of white into her eyes, hoping that it doesn't, just gives, and I'm dabbing it off with my finger, but just gives a little bit. I find if you put a little bit of white in her eyes, it draws you into her eyes. So just what I've done there. I'm going to go around here with my gel pen, just very loose and organic looking, just to make that stand out a little. And last thing I'm going to do is, and I'm not sure what I'm going to use. Yes, I am. I'm going to put a colour in her eyes. I wasn't going to, but I'm going to. And I'm actually going to use, there's a bit of blue in that purple. So I'm going to use one of the new Magicals. Shifters. I keep saying shifters. Sifters. We're not doing any tool work here. Well, let's be honest, this is as much tool work as I'm going to do. I'm just going to put a teeny bit, and I've literally just, oh, no, I've done too much. That's okay. I'll use that on something else. And I'm just going to get that water pen. No, that one's too big. I'm just going to add a little bit of something in that. Sorry, the colour of that I just used was the Octopus Eyes Aqua. Convenient that I'm using it on her eyes. So I'm just putting, no, too much. I'm just putting a little dot in there. And a little dot in there. Now one's darker than the other. So I'm going to pick up that water and put a little bit more pigment in there. So that's the beauty of the Magicals. You can make it as dark or as light as you like. Now I'm just going to pick up a bit of that water. Too much. And put a bit more pigment down. Oh, and now it got purple in it. A bit of purple came out. Oh, Jesus. That's okay. We picked it up. Because there is obviously purple in the blue. There we go. I will fix the black in the middle once she's dry. And that's that. So thank you for watching. Thank you for playing along. I am going to put a bit of that excess Magical onto this spare card I've got here. I'll even drip it down. If you just joined us, I've done this super quick. I'm getting better at this. Please go back and watch, and I hope it inspires you to do. Get messy, play with the Magicals. If you haven't got any, thanks Louie. If you haven't got any, you need these in your life. If you're a crafter, they're fantastic. So I've just dripped a bit of that off, and then I'll sprinkle some on there. And this will be a tag that I'll create later, just with all my off messy spells. Thanks, Marilyn. Thank you for watching. And if you didn't know, Magicals are on special till, I think it's till Sunday. I could be wrong on that one. Have a look at the website. 15% off. Awesome deal. I love my Magicals. I will show you my tray. These are the majority of my Magicals, and I just can't get enough of them. So they are beautiful. Really good for Christmas. You can get beautiful colors for Christmas things, Christmas crafts happening. Thanks, Diana. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back again. Thanks for having me, and thanks, Natalie, for letting me jump on and give some inspiration. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Linda. Bye.